Raider Nation, what's going on? You're watching the Raiders Report. In today's show, I got the latest Raiders news and rumors, and I figured I'm going to start the show off with a little bit of news here, and it's around a linebacker that came to visit the Raiders on Wednesday, March 11th. So we know that Tahir Whitehead, he was cut by the team on March 9th. I did a show about it, and now linebacker is obviously a major need for this team. So Kirksey, he was released by the Browns on March 10th, and then just a few hours later, he went to go visit the Raiders in Las Vegas. So for those of you that maybe haven't heard of Christian Kirksey, or you're wondering what kind of player he is, mainly it's because he's been hurt and he's been out realistically the last 2 seasons. So he was only able to play 2 games last year, and then he was only able to play 7 games in 2018. But when fully healthy, on a Browns team that was not very good, and I know I talk a lot about tackles not being the only stat to look at, but Kirksey's a good, hard-hitting linebacker, and if he is healthy, I'm telling you right now, the Raiders, they will have some interest in him. So you can look at free agency. You can also, look in the draft. And will the NFL draft be canceled? I'm going to tell you right after I tell you about this new rule. So apparently, my bosses here at Chat Sports, they told me that YouTube, they don't want us to even say that illness that is not just impacting sports, but it's impacting all of our lives. So the new rule here on the Raiders Report and all Chat Sports programming going forward, we're going to call that illness the Gobert, okay? We're calling it the Gobert instead. And if you want more information on the Gobert, what I want you to do is I want you to go check out our main Chat Sports channel, because believe it or not, I do more than just the Raiders Report. So the channel is youtube.com/chatsportstv. You can subscribe there. My man James Yoder and I, we were live midnight going over everything around the Gobert. A lot more information to stay up to date. Word of advice, wash your hands, cover your mouth when you sneeze and cough. Do that for me. Also, turn on the notifications so you know exactly when I go live. All right, let's get into it. Will the NFL draft be canceled? I'm going to give this one 2 chucky heads when people are talking. So the dramatic suspension of the NBA season on Wednesday night in the wake of the Gobert pandemic begs the question, how will the NFL handle the outbreak with the draft just a month away? So for those of you that don't know, the NFL draft is on April 23rd to the 25th. Now for me, I gave it 2 chucky heads because in my opinion, worst comes to worst here, okay? The entire draft could be conducted by video. We make video here all the time on Chat Sports, and we are still going to cover the draft if it happens here on the show. Now, you could also do this, though. Basically, even if all public draft events are canceled, I still think that they're going to end up doing the selection part. Why? Because if you do it over video, nobody's impacted. But that does mean I think a lot of parties are canceled. And right now, my party for the draft, is that going to happen? That one, unfortunately, is probably only 1 chucky head at this point. So I want you guys to let me know. Will the NFL draft be canceled? Y for yes, or I want you to type your N for no. I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. So what I want you to do is I want you to scroll on down while that ad is playing, and I want you to let me know. Will the NFL draft be canceled? Let's move on now to the next story. It's around Oklahoma linebacker Kenneth Murray, and according to NFL Network's James Palmer, Murray was scheduled to meet with the Raiders, and now that might not happen because of Gobert. So some reports had said that the NFL canceled all pre-draft visits for every team. Each team is allowed 30 prospect visits before the draft, which could be in jeopardy this year. As of this moment, it is not a league-wide mandate, leaving the decision up to the teams. I know John, I know Mike, I know they're hardworking guys, but it would not surprise me if they put all scouts, if they put all duties on hold. A lot of other NFL teams are doing it. In fact, right before I started doing the show, the 49ers, they got put on hold. Now, Kenneth Murray, though, is a player that is drawing a lot of interest for this team because you can see those numbers up here on screen. But also, Mayock and Gruden, they attended Oklahoma's Pro Day on Wednesday, March 11th. Now, I can't guarantee you that they're going to draft Kenneth Murray, but I can guarantee you they're going to be involved or at least interested in a lot of Oklahoma players. Now, I can guarantee you this. You're going to love these deals, and you're going to love these shirts. So, chatsports.com/RaidersGreen1. We got St. Patrick's Day edition shirts for 30% off. Also, use promo code FREESHIP at checkout. Gets you some free shipping. So, this is the first one, chatsports.com/RaidersGreen1. I'll be honest, though, this next one I like a little bit more. Chatsports.com/RaidersGreen2. I'll put it in the comments. I'll put it in the description. So if you want to rep your team on St. Paddy's Day, have a good time. All I ask, drink responsibly and wash your hands. Can you do that for me? chatsports.com/RaidersGreen2. So let's get back into it now with Kenneth Murray. And he is, I'm telling y'all right now, a serious target for the Raiders at pick number 19. Because you're still looking for an impact linebacker, even more now, the fact that, well, you just moved on from Tahir Whitehead, and you're likely going to move on from Vontaze Burfict. He's a smart player who I'm telling you can play sideline to sideline. He got a lot of that experience at the Big 12. Plus, what's one thing Mike Mayock wants? A tight end that's able to cover tight ends. Wait, a linebacker that's able to cover tight ends and running backs. But when you look at his size and his build, he has pretty good size and build for an NFL linebacker at 6'2", 243 pounds. He moves pretty well. And again, in 2019, 4 sacks, 102 tackles. He's a pretty solid all-around linebacker. And you could basically put him in right now to our linebacking depth chart, honestly. He'd be a starter from day one. No offense to Compton and Wilbur, solid depth players, but I think that's what they are. And if we go into the season with these players on our roster, I think it's going to hurt. But the Raiders are going to let Will Compton walk, and they're going to let Wilbur walk. And you can see there Vontaze Burfict. They're more than likely going to let him walk. So maybe with all these linebackers walking, who knows? Maybe we can stumble across 2 linebackers in the draft. And my 2 favorites right now are Kenneth Murray and Patrick Queen. Well, I guess that's not counting Isaiah Simmons. So if you had to pick a guy, okay, you're on the clock at 19. Both these players are on the board, and you're like, I'm going with linebacker. So who would you go with? I want you to type M for Kenneth Murray, or I want you to type Q for Patrick Queen. We can't do a show without a little bit of Derek Carr news and rumors, can we? No. So I love this, okay? Absolutely ecstatic that Jon Gruden finally stood up to some reporters and backed his quarterback a little bit. So for those of you that don't like Derek, might want to turn away right now. Reporters asked Gruden about the potential of landing Brady. And it's clear he's sick and tired of answering all the questions, and I don't blame him. If you haven't seen this quote by Gruden, I promise you're going to love it. You're killing me. Man, we love our quarterback. Our quarterback's a really good player, Derek Carr. I want to reiterate that to everybody here in Vegas. We've got a good, young quarterback, and the film, the statistics, and analytics prove it. And in fact, I do agree with Jon Gruden that he is a good quarterback. And for you PFF nuts out there, he actually graded out as the 11th best quarterback in the NFL last season. The biggest issue with Carr, yes, I understand he's not throwing the football down the field, but go watch the film. A lot of times they're not telling him to. I do believe if you can put some talent around him, he can get back to being 2016 form of Carr. I really, truly believe that. We got to build the offensive line, or continue to build the offensive line, get him some talent in the draft and possibly free agency. But Derek, he is a good quarterback. I will say this, though. I have known Jon to be the person that just kind of says what he needs to say when he's on camera. So let me ask you, do you believe Gruden? Honestly, do you believe Gruden's statement on him backing up Derek Carr? I want you to give me a B for believe him, baby. Or I want you to type D for you don't believe him. So again, throw it in the comment section if you watch us on YouTube or on Facebook. The last thing that I'm going to talk about here, and it's about our stadium and the roof panel installation. It's beginning. So the first roof panels were installed at Allegiant Stadium this week, marking the start of the final process of fully enclosing the structure. The panels were put on Monday to the roof near the northeast portion, just above the portion of the stadium where the first Allegiant signage was installed. I don't know about you guys. I am super stoked to finally be able to see this bad boy, and I still haven't come across a nickname for it. So if you guys have a nickname that you're giving the stadium, let me know. I've heard the Owl. I've heard a few other nicknames, but for me, I kind of like the Owl. Now, if you haven't seen the stadium and the panels, I got it for you right now. So here's the picture that I found on the internet, and this is what the panels are looking like. It's really cool because it's going to kind of give you that, that's a good way to put it, that outdoor feel, but you're not going to get the heat. And it rained like an inch or some crazy thing like that on Tuesday in Vegas. This is going to give it the natural feel. I like the panels a lot. I think it's going to be a big reason why, personally, the Raiders are going to have the nicest looking stadium in all of the NFL. So before I go, I do want to know what you guys are doing for St. Paddy's Day. I will say this, be smart, be responsible, but most importantly, I want you to rep your team, okay? Chatsports.com/RaidersGreen1. Rep the Raiders 366 days of the year. Maybe I should change my Twitter handle and Instagram. But if you want that t-shirt, it's green 1. This next one is chatsports.com/green2. I'll put it in the comments. I'll put it in the descriptions. Drink responsibly. Have a good time. Celebrate St. Paddy's Day. But if I do have one favor to ask, wash your hands, okay? Cover your mouth when you cough, and subscribe to the Raiders Report. All right, guys. I love you. I'm out. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this. I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.